love catching up with any time we have a chance to.
He's a nice fella. He's got over 50 million followers, super successful, entrepreneur and friend. Let's welcome back Gary Vaynerchuk.
My boys.
Yeah,
what
Gary,
up, man?
You're one of those guys that, like, high school pals, people like, you know Gary V. It's hilarious, your reach to so many different groups of people.
It's so weird. I literally, as we just sat down here, said to myself, I can't believe you just used that word. I literally said to myself, I feel like I went to high school with these guys. Like, every time I'm here, it's so cozy. First of all, that's very flattering. I think it's because, and it is really weird, when I'm in the airport with somebody for the first time in my companies, they're always weirded out by how completely left field the people that come up to me, it's like a 72-year-old grandma,
Right. Yeah.
Asian grandma comes up, and then like an 18-year-old like guy. You know, like it's. I think it's because I talk about very simple stuff at the end of the day, which is like human.
Right.
Yeah.
You
it's
know?
relatable to everybody.
Yeah, I think that means it's going to catch a broad market.
Gary V hanging out. You all right, Rich? I feel like
No,
you're
I'm
getting
get some
emotional.
water.
I'm getting emotional.
You getting emotional thinking about it?
We're talking about humanity.
You know what, Gary V?
Yes, sir.
I grew up going to Crazy Eddie's, buying
Yes.
cassettes and things like that.
These prices were insane.
I remember buying Twisted Sister.
Oh, my
And
God.
the album was Stay Hungry.
Bro,
And I did.
Stay-
That's why I'm
Captain
chubby.
Howdy.
Captain Howdy.
Give me something
Oh,
for that pull.
yeah,
Give me
man,
something for
loved
that
it.
pull.
Yo, I love Captain Howdy.
We're not good. We're not. Do you understand? How old are you?
48.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm 49. Bro, can we explain to the kids that are listening that Twisted Sister summer when MTV was just becoming MTV?
yeah.
Like, we're not going to take it.
Everything.
Was life.
I Want to Rock.
Was life.
But I stayed away
Was
from Captain
life.
Howdy, but I stayed hungry too, right? How do you stay hungry, which you have? How do you stay humble while doing it?
Good, honestly, good parenting. The answer to my question
Yeah.
is I was parented well, and I got fortunate that I was. Actually, I'm glad I'm getting to say this. I believe the best thing that could ever happen to you is you're born into a family that does not have much financially, but has a deep happiness and love in the home. Because I think what happens to you in those first 5 to 7 years as a human being is you're consciously and subconsciously learning that money has no impact on happiness. I am the byproduct of that.
Right.
We had nothing. We were immigrants from the Soviet Union. I lived in a studio apartment in Rego Park, Queens with 6 other people in a studio. You know, that was my starting point of my memories. You know, so I think that I'm hungry because I wasn't fed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? I'm hungry because I wasn't fed, and I'm humble because I was well parented. I was taught that, you know, you treat people well, and all the nice things that have happened to me, making money and having lots of followers, it hasn't changed me. It's exposed who I am, and I think money and fame expose you. They don't change you.
Yeah, because how many people have you seen their star rise, their income rise, and they sort of change and they feel themselves a little bit.
And I
You've
feel
been
like,
the same
and I feel
all
like,
along.
and I feel they're exposing themselves. I feel like that's who they were, that's who they are, and then vice versa. I feel like there's a lot of people. Actually, it's so weird. I know Joe pretty well. Joe Burrow's going on some show right now over there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is, yeah.
I recruited him for Vayner Sports before he transferred to LSU, right? He's the same exact human being
Same
right
guy.
now.
You can tell.
And
Right?
I love that
And
about
That's
him.
why
Yeah.
people
That's why
love
people love him.
Joe Burrow.
And I think that's the punchline. I could not recommend more to people who are on a journey of getting bigger if they feel like they're getting successful, that if you're not good, you should go into therapy. You should work on something. You should fix it, because what's going to happen is you're going to expose yourself to the world, and they're going to smell it, and they're going to figure it out pretty quickly of who you are.
Gary, I have 2 little kids, and now I'm in the coaching world. And I wanted to ask you, I mean, how do you approach giving these kids confidence, not being too tough, yet being tough? Because I think about what you said. There are times, even outside of coaching kids, going to a theme park, not trying to spoil your kids, but wanting to give them crap. I never know how to handle all this stuff.
Every single parent on earth makes mistakes.
Yeah.
We're all just trying.
Yeah.
You know, heck, I mean, my son is weirdly good at basketball. You know, he's a 12-year-old. He's a 6th grader. He made the 7th and 8th grade team, which was
Wow,
already like
yeah.
oh my
Damn.
God. Now, 3 games in, he's the starting point guard. And by the way, he's half the size of every 6th grader on earth. He's the size of a 3rd grader. He's in the 7th and 8th grade league, and he's cooking these kids.
Nice.
And honestly, last game, I'm going to put him on blast. Last game, he's dominating the game. By the way, all these kids were so affected by Steph Curry. The reason he's dominating is his handle's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Some of these kids,
Yeah, crazy.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, he's dominating the game. His heel starts to bother him, and he sits for the third and the majority fourth quarter. They're up 20 with him in. They're up 2 with 2 minutes left with him out. And I'm, like, looking at him, and I'm like, you can't curse on this show,
This
right?
is our bonus podcast. We're going to put this on.
Beautiful.
So go ahead.
I'm like, get your fucking ass in the game. What
are you doing?
And I know I'm doing a 1964 dad thing right now.
Right.
And I'm so glad we're on the podcast. I don't give a fuck. I'm like, get in the fucking game.
Right.
And he does. And he gets in the game. I'm on full brag mode. First play, steals the ball. Outlet pass. Now they're up 4. Next play, steals the ball, pass. Guy gets fouled. The game's over. And I'm like, and to me, I could feel all the other parents' judgment of me pushing him to go in the game. I could feel it.
Really?
It's 2025 in New York City. What the fuck do you think I'm dealing with?
Yeah.
And I could feel it. I could feel them judging me and feeling bad. And Xander's reacting on the other side of it, like not well. He's like, he's not. It's not like he's getting motivated. He's not getting Gary V'd.
Yeah.
I'm not Gary Vee to my son. I'm his dad.
Right,
he's not getting motivated. He's like annoyed with me, but he goes in and when I tell you, my conversation with him that night and then the next morning, I took him to school. I could smell what happened. He persevered through something.
Mm-hmm.
He pushed himself to a place he didn't think he was ready to do. And he not only that, it worked. A lot of times when you do that, and there's been different versions of this story where like nothing cool happened.
Right.
Yeah.
In this scenario, the kind of cool thing that weirdly he might tell forever. Like, let me tell you the game when I was 12.
My heel hurt. My dad pushed me, and it was a great thing.
By the way, the dad part won't be in that story. He's like,
I'm the man.
yeah. So here's what I would say.
Yeah.
There's been times I've done that, and it didn't go well. You overpushed, blah, 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 all that stuff. There's times where it did go well. Every one of us is struggling with it. What I would say to every dad who's listening, every mom who's listening, you've got to go with intuition, and you've got to try both. If you're like a crazy Marinovich dad where you're just like driving your kid to the ground and you never have I've gone soft on him at times. You got to play the situation. All these parents read all these goddamn books now.
It's rough, man.
Like, just be a human and sometimes push and sometimes don't. Find, back to America right now, don't be fully red. Don't be fucking fully blue. Be purple. Sometimes you left. Sometimes you right.
No doubt,
Can we
man.
fucking mix it?
Dude,
I always say a Covino taco party of one. How could you go so far left, so far right? You got to play it by ear.
I'm fully purple.
Yeah.
I'm fully purple.
Got to be purple. Every situation's different.
I remember. Hold on. I was coaching the kids, and I could see the girls were like, just being lazy. 7-year-old girl softball, and I said, "Hey, girls, how about we play? I said, let's play a little mad. You ever get mad and you're angry?" One of the parents is like, "I would not tell the kids to play mad." I'm like, why not?
Then leave because in sports I play mad.
I was like, the other girls are hustling on the other team. Don't you want to beat them? Let's play a little mad. I got yelled at.
I'm actually the reverse. I don't know if I've ever played anything not mad.
Yeah,
mad is how I play.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of, I think the Eagles are playing mad because they want revenge.
I think right.
The Chiefs want that three-peat.
Yeah, it's big.
So what's more of a motivator in your mind based on that theory?
I think at this level and those circumstances, I think it's an even Steven.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do. And then it becomes individual. Like, I'm watching 2 NFL players talk to each other. I think it's Solomon Thomas, Jets player currently, but he'll be a free agent.
Your eyes are better than mine, bro.
And they're talking, and I look at both of them, and what you really learn is on the 53 men, it varies within them. There's 41 Eagles and 41 Chiefs this Sunday that are going to play like their life depends on it. But don't get it twisted. There'll be 12 that are playing it chill and are thinking about their vacation. Like, you'd be surprised.
Right.
And that's okay. That's how life is. Everyone's a little different.
Gary loves to talk about how you love losing.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, Covino and I debate this all the time, that there are times where I feel like he's not motivated unless there's a chip on his shoulder.
Listen,
is that how you think a healthy way to operate?
It's a Tostito, but yes. yes.
I am very motivated by losing in things that don't matter. Sports, board games. In life, I do think a chip on the shoulder is a good one, but I fear when it becomes too big, I think you can get a little bit Darth Vader. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I think there's a dark side to the chip. Like Michael Jordan.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah,
I think it's dark over there.
Yeah,
With
that
all due
documentary opened
Bro,
opened up
honestly,
a lot of eyes. Like, damn.
Honestly, that was his documentary. Just so you
Yeah,
know,
I know.
It
Right?
gets way darker
Yeah.
than that.
Very odd.
It's way darker than that.
When you saw him in that documentary sitting there, like, this guy's a little bit of a crazy man.
Way darker than that. So I think that a chip on the shoulder is good, especially when it's silly stuff. A softball game, a game of Monopoly.
Right.
Like
right.
I love competition that is erratic and ridiculous in lightweight stuff. I don't like it as much in life. Like, you're so mad at your dad for the way he parented you that your whole life's about, like, I'll show dad. I think there's a point where that becomes so unhealthy, and I feel like there I would like to see a little more purple. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Speaking of competition, Gary V, Covino and Rich with Gary Vaynerchuk, got to ask you, who is your competition? How do you view that? Do you see these other entrepreneurs on social media?
No,
do you
I'm
root
good
for them?
I root for them. I'm
you
good
do?
like that. Yeah, I'm a big believer that no one's taking your food. Nobody's winning is coming out of my winning. I believe in massive abundance. Look, listen, I'm competitive. Like, anything I start, I want to be as good at it as possible. This is where I don't go evil. This is where my optimism kicks in. If somebody comes along and has a bigger podcast, amasses more followers, or gets heat for similar things I talk about, I cheer for them. When I did the NFTs, Friends was a monster. And then out of nowhere, Bored Ape Yacht Club came and passed us. I was happy for those dudes. Did I want V-Friends to be bigger? Of course I did. But no, I don't have a lot of envy or jealousy. I really don't.
It's a good thing.
I'm very fortunate. And again, I say that not like I'm cool or awesome. That's the luck of the draw of the moment my parents had sex and I was formed. That's some DNA shit.
No
You know what I
doubt.
mean? That's DNA
No
shit.
doubt.
That's who you are.
That was just never in me. I'm competitive, but I really do not think that somebody's podcast listen, somebody's sale of a bottle of wine.
Right.
I don't think a new wine store that affects wine text, is like, I'm not mad at them, but I'm competing. I want to win.
Yeah.
But
Always.
Talking about the unhealthy, I was telling Covino a story. I had never told her before. We're having the little pizza dinner
Yes.
for my daughter's soccer team.
I like
One
this.
of the one dad who's the guy that's pacing every game, yelling and screaming, Sabrina, that, Becky, get it. This guy's yelling the whole time.
He's into it.
He stands up at the dinner, and he's like, I just want to apologize to all the parents for me being very intense this year. It's because my dad never loved me.
Oh, my
God.
And I just want my kids to be proud. And we all looked at each other
Wow.
like, wow, this guy's
That's deep.
carrying a lot.
That's a lot of weight, man.
A lot of weight, so-
I really believe in that shit. I genuinely believe that every single person's bad behavior is completely predicated on insecurity.
Yeah.
I like everybody who does bad shit in the world. Every single person that does bad shit in the world is doing it because they're insecure.
doubt.
I genuinely believe that.
Overcompensating for
and speaking of
something.
insecure, we talk all the time about how social media creates a lot of insecurity because I think younger people don't realize that's the highlight reel. And that mindset young people have, like, everyone's living a better life than I am. How do you convince a young person? They're not, buddy. This is all fake shit.
Honestly, listen, you guys know this. We grew up with MTV Cribs. We grew up with Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. We grew
With
up,
Robin Leach.
this excuse that social has. I think this is bad parenting. I don't think it's social. I think that our parents were different. 30, they were different. When we were like, I'm sad that I don't have a Mercedes Benz. Dads in '84 were like, shut the fuck up and get to work and buy a Mercedes if you want one. Now we're like, I'll buy it for you, Johnny. Let's just get to the punchline. Listen, if you're listening to the podcast, I'm suffocating this shit. Stop blaming Instagram. Stop blaming China. Stop blaming fucking all this other bullshit. You're a fucking parent.
It's true because there's so
If
much
you don't,
good.
if you don't like that your kids are on TikTok, delete the app.
Yeah.
Especially right now because they can't reload it.
Or do
Actually,
something with
right
it.
now, by the way, parents, once and for all, you're so fucking scared of TikTok and it's so bad. When your kid is sleeping, delete it. They can't get it back on their phone. Step up. Oh, Gary, I can't do that. All his friends, all her friends have it. What the fuck are you talking about? You're folding the 6th grade peer pressure? Once and for all, we are filled with excuses. Be a fucking parent.
Gary, your kid's, 4 years or so away from driving? Does Gary V get his kid a new car when the time is right,
Ooh,
or
that's
is it
a
an
good
old
one.
school lesson of like you got to earn?
Yeah, man.
Like how does that work in your world?
In my
It's a tricky
personal
one, right?
situation, my ex-wife is gonna. We're in a situation where she'll make some decisions that I can't fully control.
Yeah.
Right.
So will I buy them a new car? No, I will not. Will they have a brand new car?
Probably.
It's I don't want to speak for her, but like it's in the cards.
It's in the cards.
Hey, listen, I co-parent, and there's a lot of people in that
Yep.
situation.
Yep.
How do you balance your work-life harmony? Like, how do you do that? Like, right now, my kid is with my ex, right?
By realizing there is no balance, there is no harmony. Obviously, my kids have the best mom in the world. I think she's an incredible mother, and so I'm very fortunate on that front. Like, you do the best you can. This is like the whole thing for all parents. We're just all doing the best we can. Like, what is balance? Is it are you
It's
supposed to
tough.
say 50-50?
Well, think of how far you've come as a business guy, right?
Yep.
You still got to be there. You got to show up. That's a major part of your life, but you
Major.
still got to be a dad.
Yeah, honestly, like some days the business takes the L, some days the kids don't get you there. But the other thing I would say to people that have very young kids, I want them to hear this. This concept that you have to be at every single thing, again, this goes to purple. We've become too led. Everybody overcompensated the red with the blue pill. We got to get the purple. In fact, I actually think it's healthy for a kid that's 7 that you've gone to 13 straight recitals or basketball games, that if you miss one,
I couldn't agree more, man.
This is
honestly.
real.
Gary,
'Cause
can I tell you?
Parents are just extending themselves in crazy ways, putting so much pressure on themselves. And, I mean, there's certain things that you got to do.
by the way,
And it's
I'm
always like Wednesday at 2 p.m. And I'm like, and I'm always trying to manage my schedule. Thank you for that.
I'm
Because
with
now
you
I'm
on
like,
that.
like today,
And-
I felt a little guilty. Emmy has a little thing at the school, and Sarah's like, I'll tape it on my phone. I'm like, okay, should I FaceTime you? I'm like, no, I think we'll be okay.
I think this is a huge issue, and the punchline is your kids care about the depth, not the width. There's a lot of parents right now just checking the boxes. So great, I'm glad you went to Emmy's little thing. You were looking
Yeah.
at your phone the whole time, and Emmy saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no,
Emmy
it's
knows
a great
Dad
point.
actually doesn't give a shit. Like,
Yeah.
like to me, it's like we're checking boxes. These kids are not dumb.
Yeah.
Do
Know
you,
what
do you actually give a shit about them? Are you in their life? Do you talk to them? Do you care? They don't need you to check every box.
By the way, there's our next president, Stephen A. Smith.
there he is.
Stephen A.
The
President.
President. President.
Stephen A. Stephen A. That's
Yeah,
so
I mean,
cool,
I
man.
think
Hilarious.
I think that there's just a lot to this whole game, and it all is finding the middle. The extremes have fucked up everything politically,
No doubt.
in parenting, in society.
Are you
And-
fascinated too when you see half the people you know thinking the world's coming to an end now, and half of your friends are like, "This is the greatest time ever"? Like,
No,
it's
because
wild.
that's been the way for 20 years.
Yeah.
I like politics,
Yeah.
and I like human behavior.
Yeah, it's fun
So
too.
this goes back to Bush Gore for me. This has
Yeah.
been going on for a much longer time. Obviously, it's now amplified, but I've had Republican friends and Democrat friends for 20 years telling me they're moving to Canada every 4 years. Meanwhile, news alert: no one's moved to Canada.
No, exactly.
So humans are full of shit,
Right.
and so I pay attention to it, but I'm not surprised. This is the.
Would you ever dabble in that world?
I don't think so. I'll be honest with you. Here's why. Back to how this interview started.
Yeah.
I feel like I can make a bigger impact on humanity from the perch I'm sitting on. The second you go into that world, immediately 50% of the people will not listen to a word you say.
By the way, is that how you want to be remembered? I made an impact on humanity? Or
Yeah, it's
Gary V, businessman? Like,
No,
how
I
do
like.
you want to?
I'll honestly, I really want my inner circle to remember me, like as a good dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm very, very passionate that the people that actually know me, like the way I know you guys,
Yeah.
right? Acquaintance / like we
Yeah.
just have a good vibe,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I much more care today what you guys think about me than when you knew. I remember the first time we knew of each other.
Yeah.
Today, it matters to me much more what you think about me than 4 years ago, 6 years ago. My family, it's the most important. The people I've worked with for a decade, more important. A stranger, Johnny Pants 19 on social, not as much.
Fuck Johnny Pants.
You know,
Okay, fuck
and so I'd like, yes, I do think a lot about being remembered fondly, and I do not believe that can be achieved by me making a lot of money. I think it is achieved by how I show up every day of the week for my family, for my acquaintances, for my friends, and for my strangers.
Well, to answer your question, when we found out we're seeing you today, it was, so happy he's killing it, and we love Gary V. So
I
that's.
love Gary V, man.
I got one more thing I got to ask you.
Sure.
I know you're being pulled in a million
No worries.
directions, I'm sure. I love when you talk about patience because I read a quote once. It's like he or she who can master patience can master anything. I'm impatient. He's impatient. I see it in my kids. As Ronnie Chen, the comedian, does, Prime now. We can't even wait a day for a package anymore.
Yeah.
How do you encourage people to understand patience?
They have no choice. When I fucking tell you the way I embraced patience was through the lens of extreme practicality and truth. Because you have no fucking choice, friends.
Yeah.
News alert. Like, I don't give a shit, nor does God, nor does the world, that you want something right now. I also want everything that I dream of. I wish I'd been running the Jets for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. I understand about dreams, ambitions, but even basic stuff. If someone's listening right now, like, yo, fuck you, Gary, not big stuff like that. Like, I just want a better roof over my, kid's house. I'm like, listen, respect, but guess what? You trying to do shortcuts or scams isn't going to achieve that.
No.
Like you're going to have to fucking put a hard hat on and fucking eat shit for another 2 years and take an extra job and put a patch over that fucking roof. Like, real shit.
No
You know what I mean? And so how did I embrace it? By knowing I had no fucking choice.
Thank you, man. Gary V. 2 Super Bowl ads, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
right? Tubi and
Duracell.
And Duracell.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
The Duracell was a real one to look out for.
Vayner Sports, Vayner X, Vayner Media.
Vayner.
By the way,
Vayner,
next time
Vayner.
we see Gary, is he going to be a robot? What's your thoughts on AI real quick? Do you think, are we headed in a crazy direction or what?
Yeah.
Yeah?
And our great-great-great-great-grandparents would think we're in a crazy spot now. They'd be like, what's a phone?
Yeah.
What's a car?
No doubt, yeah.
What's a plane? Wait, you can get to Europe in 6 hours? It used to take us fucking 3 weeks.
People would pack up and leave
No,
the
but
country and be like, nice knowing you. I'll never see you again.
Bro, we grew up in an era,
Yeah.
you and I, right, where we grew up in an era where me and my friends went to college, that was it.
Oh, yeah.
We joke
There was
about
no
how
cell phones.
we
There was
joke
no
about-
instant
We
messenger.
didn't have a computer.
We joke about
In our
how
dorm
you'd
room.
have a kid you'd play tackle football with in your neighborhood. He could move 2 towns away and be like, nice knowing you.
Never again.
Never saw me.
Never
Yeah,
again.
He was the weird kid in your yearbook. Like,
Now,
remember that kid?
now kids meet each other like at some event, and they have friendships of 40 years, texting, social media, literally lost in the ether.
You're so right,
A
man.
block sometimes
Dude.
in the right city.
Hey,
I
you know
love
what?
it.
Give us this before you go.
Yes.
What's next for Gary V, man?
You know what's funny? I'm a counter puncher by trade. What I mean by that is I'm much more Floyd Mayweather than I'm Mike Tyson.
Of course.
You know, the answer is I'm always building frameworks and paying attention and thinking about what is happening. AI. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a scoop.
Okay.
I am working on making an AI influencer. So I am the intellectual property and producer of a person I'm about to make famous. Like, I didn't think I was going to do that 3 years ago.
What does the person look like?
A much more handsome, younger version of me.
Is he wearing a sweet suede jacket like me by any chance?
He's got a nice little,
Does he have a little scrub?
Yes.
Yeah.
Little
But like-
just for men pop through.
But on some
Dude,
real,
that's crazy though.
so the blending of being Disney
Right.
and influencer marketing is coming. Humans are going to own 50 humans. But they're not real humans, but they're going to be big on social, and that's a business, brand deals,
Wow.
marketing. So, I think I'm not sure what's next. I know that I keep my eyes and ears open for
the
opportunity.
counterpunch.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Awesome, man. Hey, thank
Sex
you again.
robots, they're coming.
Sex robots, yeah.
You watched the Megan Fox movie?
Yes. And my wife's like, she's like, because it has a personality. No. I'm like, that's the reason.
No, listen, I think by the way, I've got a hot take. Robots are coming.
Yeah.
Relationships with robots is coming. And how about this? I got a hot take. I think for a lot of people in 50 years, that is going to help their marriage. I actually predict that relationships with AI robots will actually help some sort of framework. It'll be not what people will think, oh, no one's going to. It's always the counter thing that people don't realize.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, no,
amazing.
completely.
Yo,
Awesome.
Gary.
Thank you,
brother.
man.
Dude, you're the man. I love hanging with you,
It's
man.
Gary
Thank
Vaynerchuk.
you.
Always great to see you on Covino and Rich, Fox Sports Radio.